Hi guys, so words have consequences, but unfortunately when it comes to Boris Johnson, they seem to have zero impact on him. We've heard before how he would prefer to see the bodies pile high, and he didn't suffer a dent in the polls. His attempt to connect Jimmy Savile and Keir Starmer saw about a dozen or so MPs out of 300 ask him to apologise, not to resign. So when Johnson compared Brexiteers voting to leave the EU with Ukrainians fighting a Russian invasion, the backlash was pretty stinging. Senior people in the European Union condemned it, and this resulted in him being left out and Joe Biden being invited in to discussions taking place this week. Boris Johnson may not care, but this damages Britain's standing in the world. Unlike Trump, that as soon as he left office, America's standing could be rebuilt, Brexit and Johnson are determined to permanently damage the UK's reputation. This was highlighted by Lord Ricketts, a former member of the Foreign Office.
I understand the Prime Minister is off to the NATO summit on Thursday, but he's not been invited, unlike Joe Biden, to the EU Leaders Summit on the same day.
Well, in a way, I don't think that's very surprising. I mean, given the sort of remarks he's been making over the weekend about comparing Brexit to the struggle of the Ukrainian people, I mean, that was seen as desperately insulting and insensitive all around Europe. I'm afraid we are not going to be helping to shape the agenda with our EU counterparts. We should be. NATO is an important forum for Britain. As you say, we're a major defence spender. The UK has been very effective in supplying aid and support to the Ukrainians. But in the crucial discussions that will go on between Joe Biden and the Europeans, for example, on strengthening sanctions, Britain is going to be on the sidelines of that, which I think is a great mistake. I think the Prime Minister ought to be reaching out and working to improve relations, to heal the wounds of the past with the EU, not doubling down on them.
And he's right. But the problem is that when Boris Johnson delivered this speech over the weekend, he did not make a mistake. This was not a gaffe. This was planned. And why did Boris Johnson make a comparison between Brexiteers and Ukrainians fighting the Russians? He made it because there is a small section of society, a very loud section of society, that continue to support him. It seems to be somewhere between 25 and 30% of the electorate. Not of the population, but of the electorate. And they're willing to come out and vote for Boris Johnson every time. So his message that the struggle that the Ukrainians are facing is like that of Brexit was directed at those people. Because those people actually still believe that. They are an insane group of people. I'm sorry if this is offensive, but these people truly believe that. That their struggle, that the struggle to leave the undemocratic, dictatorial European Union is like that of the Ukrainians. So Boris Johnson knows that these people will come out and vote if they're given the right, if the right buttons are pressed. Red meat to the base, in a sense. And well, of course, this is damaging Britain on the world stage. Brexit is damaging Britain on the world stage. You know, the Brexiteers focused on, well, we need to leave in order to do all these trade deals. We need to leave in order to improve our economy. And that failed, obviously. But another failure is diplomacy. Diplomacy has been sacrificed for Brexit as well. UK standing in the world. The UK used to be a leader in Europe. Now it's following on behind. Can this be rebuilt? Probably if, well, as I said on a number of occasions, the Tories have to be removed from power first, a pro-European party replacing it, and then the road back to rejoining. But I think, unfortunately, Britain's position in Europe will always be different to that of the past. We're not going back to the way it was before. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think about all of this. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot.